Hello and welcome everybody. In this, the dawn is rising here in Red Dead Redemption 2 story mode, not online. This is going to be a little bit of a story session because as I entered the game and walked around this tent listening to a very intense discussion between, I think it was Dutch and some girl. Is that Dutch in there? I don't know. Anyway, then I walked around here and then I noticed a little bit of a book called The American Inferno. And as a Dane, I have never really heard of this. I'm assuming it's a quite famous book from the 19th century. And I thought, let's just make a session on reading Chapter 2 of The American Inferno by Evelyn Miller. So just lean back and listen to, and you could follow along with the text as well, but I will read it. Chapter 2, The American Inferno. A few thoughts upon New York. In the end, what has a man but his thoughts? I would postulate further, what is a man to stand for, but his thoughts, his actions perhaps. I know precious little of actions. Lions, donkeys, and hyenas, they all act. So is that what we are? No, we are more and less than the beasts. We are thoughts. We're actions, and the reflections upon these actions. Yet, we are also not merely reflections. We are not mirrors. That is the preserve of spirits, of the gods. We are actions and the thoughts upon actions, neither one nor other. We are free neither from action nor from thought. Our humanity can only be understood if we embrace both the animal and the God within us. As humans we must nourish both, yet America is a land of action, a place fixated not on ideas, not on the redemptive power of thought, but on the obliteration of the intellect. I've never seen that word before. It is a place wherein mankind has attempted to deny half of his being, and in pursuing freedom has attempted to split himself. Much as a monk gives up the pleasures of the body, so the American is encouraged to give up the pleasures of the mind. He is led by desire into a pig pen, awaiting his own slaughter. Oh my God. With this in mind, I decided that my study would best be conducted by traveling around this country and seeing how we, as Americans, could best awaken both the God and the animal within. I wandered into the inferno, the grand human inferno, the fiery and mediocre hell that is Manhattan, a world built by men for the torture of their fellows. Wow, strong images here. A place that shows beyond all reasonable doubt that when left to his own devices, when removing God entirely from his creation, man will induce not heaven but hell. The gilded inferno, the marbled purgatory, this American churning sea of desire, the place where we see man for what he truly is, and recoil in horror. He is the destroyer of all, of nature, of course, of his brothers, seemingly as sport, and finally of himself. Men are fixated on greed, on desire, and on the acquisition not of experiences or pleasures, but the ability to acquire. People are fixated on wealth. Man is reduced to the desire for desire. Wanting is all that matters. Not loving, not being, not having, but wanting. We are killers for desire. Even sport would be preferable. This is the grand sickness, the eternal sickness of this land. It is man unleashed. Man unleashed and turned into he knows not what. For inside he is nothing. So all that moves him, all that he understands, is the external, the great, churning sea of desire. It is not freedom. It is an impression of freedom for people who have not the capacity to see further. And why can they not see further? Because they have not been taught to see. If you wish for men truly to be free, if that is this nation's promise, and not merely a sales pitch for snake oil, then we must first teach ourselves, and then our fellows, to see the glory. The glory in death, yes, of course, in life, but also in death. I realize that idea is abhorrent. I realize it is vulgar and distasteful. I realize it is perverse, but it is also the truth. As I traveled through Manhattan, from the migrant slums of the Lower East Side to the marble-clad mansions by the Central Park, I came to appreciate a hideous truth. The system that allows poverty and degradation, such as I saw is wrong, and the impacts of the degradation on humanity are profound. But far worse is the impact of wealth upon those who possess it and are possessed by it. To be removed from humanity, to live as a prisoner in a marble gaol, to be isolated from humanity in such a manner, is so profoundly anti-American as to make the whole conception of this nation an absurdity even worse than our treatment of the Negro. Manhattan at once depraves the poor and dehumanizes the rich. Its purpose is unhappiness, the nurturing and blooming of suffering. And this, we are informed, is the high point of American society. Nonsense. This is nonsense. American nonsense. Yes, but nonsensical deceptions nonetheless. The real America can only be found not in desires, but in the purity of its landscape. Wow, that's so true. I mean, there's what she's talking about here about how obscene the civilization was at this time, like especially when you consider where we are here. I'm gonna return this book right here. It's probably one of the women who's reading it. Especially when you see where we are, land of the outlaw. I mean, this is all obscene. Whereas the purity of the American nature is more, what would you call it, more natural. I mean, that's logical in itself. But also the civilization, like in Saint Denis, where you have a lot of industrial things like we have today, but it is not yet implemented in the structured and orderly fashion that we have today. It is actually like you have the slaughterhouse where there's blood are still running out, poisoning the waters down here, I think it was, and you have the garbage dump. I don't know where that was exactly, and then you have the horses pooping all over the city. So yeah, I guess in fact that is exactly what this book, The American Inferno, criticizes. The rush of the American industrialization in this time period, the stress that America had to become one of the biggest nations on Earth. That's interesting. And now it's gone. Now the book's actually gone. Let's see it. Did somebody actually take it?
Good morning, Arthur.
Well, good morning.
How are you doing, Molly?
Fine. Fed up of moving all the time.
Yep, just the way it is.
Oh, it is Dutch. It is Dutch who's reading the American Inferno. Wow.
Honey and I raided a big old house in the swamps. Stole some guns.
What are you
Good
all
work.
up on me for?
Okay, I'll catch you later then. Okay.
Wow, it is Dutch who is reading the American Inferno. That's interesting. I'm pretty sure it's...
Privacy here.
Wow! What the fuck? Okay. Interesting. Alright. Well, I suppose that concludes this, being thrown out by Dutch. That concludes this session of reading the American Frontier. Alright. Now he's going down to watch over the water in peace. What's he doing? Yeah, okay, he's just gonna... Let's see what happens if we go to him. Hello there, Dutch.
Back up a bit, will you?
Yeah, okay. Alright, I'll leave you at peace. My Deadeye was running low, so let's just give it a little bit of guava rum there. Alright, see ya in the next one.